the speed of light is not constant. This is a big deal. The entire false narrative that science has created falls on its face if the evidence proving the slowing of the speed of light is accepted. No other component of the false narrative is so illogically defended. The evidence is real, repeatable, and quite frankly indisputable. The rate of change in the speed of light is easily expressed in an equation and naturally can be plotted. As with any graph of this kind, it not only shows what will happen with the speed of light in the future, but also what the speed of light was in the past. The evidence proves that about 6,000 years ago the speed of light approached a speed approximately 10 million times faster than it is today. The book of Genesis in the Bible states that God created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. On the fourth day, he created the sun, moon, and stars. It also states that the light of those stars shone upon the earth on that same day. Genesis 1 verses 14 and 15, "And God said, Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so." The Bible also indicates that the creation of the universe occurred approximately 6,000 years ago. The evidence of the slowing of the speed of light supports the possibility of the most distant stars in the universe giving light upon the earth on the same day they came into existence. Beyond that, the universe's age is calculated by the current speed of light and the known distance of the furthest stars. This is where they come up with this 14 billion year nonsense. But if the speed of light was approaching 10 million times its present rate just 6,000 years ago, then that calculation must be changed. Using the method of this discussion, it is impossible to support an age of the universe to exceed 6,000 years. Also, radiocarbon dating and other lesser-known forms of dating objects rely on atomic decay rates. Atomic decay rates are also calculated using the current speed of light. If the evidence supporting the slowing of the speed of light is accepted, no dating of objects using atomic decay rates could exceed 6,000 years old with any certainty. The implications in physics are substantial. For example, Planck's constant is not constant because it relies on the speed of light being constant, which is what most people believe. Planck had to adjust the value of h to fit the experimental data, thus making the constant dependent on the relationship of h to c. It is not my objective to discuss all the implications of the slowing of the speed of light. That would take the rest of my life and then some. My objective is to disprove the accepted narrative of an ancient universe in which life accidentally occurred through an evolutionary process taking millions of years, and that humans slowly evolved from lower species and emerged as primitive creatures living in caves, barely scraping by, to eventually discover fire, invent the wheel, etc. On the contrary, in future posts, I will show that the antediluvian world was more advanced in engineering and applied sciences than we are today. Barry Setterfield presented the evidence of a slowing speed of light in the late 1980s. At that time, there was a special on broadcast TV about it. I think it was on the Discovery Channel, but I could be wrong. I remember seeing it around 1987 or 1988. That was the key for me to reconciling what the Bible was saying about creation with what I knew about physics. This research is a prime example of real science that is ignored if it challenges the accepted narrative. This is the reason science will never arrive at the truth. It is horribly biased by human pride, and that is its fatal flaw. The two links below will take you to his research if you want to read it for yourself. The speed of light curve https://barrysetterfield.org/cdkcurve.html. The atomic constants, light and time, https://barrysetterfield.org/report/report.html. Below are 2 PDF summaries of the above links. I will use ChatGPT to outline the summaries to help you process the information because even the summaries are technical. The light speed curve, just click on the link below this video and the PDF will open. Here is the explanation of the summary. The PDF titled The Light Speed Curve presents an analysis of the relationship between the speed of light, redshift, and time. Here is a summary of the key points. Relativistic Doppler redshift equation. The document discusses the standard relativistic Doppler redshift equation, but claims it can be reproduced without involving relativity or Doppler effect, using the recombination factor of Planck particle pairs. This work is attributed to Barry Setterfield and Dr. Daniel Zamano in their paper, The Redshift and the Zero-Point Energy, Graphs and Axes, Redshift versus Distance. This relationship is depicted on the bottom and right-hand axes. The redshift, z, increases with distance, with 1 indicating the furthest observable point, equated with the origin of the cosmos. Light speed versus time, shown on the left-hand and upper axes. The left-hand axis measures light speed in terms of 10 million times the current speed of light, while the upper axis corresponds to time. Atomic clock rate versus orbital time. Although not explicitly defined, the graph implies this relationship, suggesting that the curves representing these phenomena are essentially the same. Unified curve. The document posits that the 3 graphs, redshift versus distance, light speed versus time, and atomic clock rate versus orbital time, can be represented by a single curve, indicating a fundamental interconnection between these concepts. The document directs readers to additional resources and papers for further exploration of these topics. The next PDF talks about zero-point energy. The link is also below. This is an essential topic in physics because it explains why the speed of light slows with the expansion of the universe. In the Bible, there are several passages where God is described as expanding, spreading, or stretching out the heavens. Here are 7 notable instances. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 22. It is he who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in. Isaiah chapter 42, verse 5. Thus says God the Lord, who created the heavens and stretched them out, who spread out the earth and its offspring, who gives breath to the people on it, and spirit to those who walk in it. Isaiah chapter 44, verse 24. Thus says the Lord, your Redeemer, and the one who formed you from the womb. I, the Lord, am the maker of all things, stretching out the heavens by myself and spreading out the earth all alone. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 12. It is I who made the earth and created man upon it. I stretched out the heavens with my hands and I ordained all their host. Isaiah chapter 51, verse 13. That you have forgotten the Lord your Maker, who stretched out the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth, that you fear continually all day long because of the fury of the oppressor, as he makes ready to destroy. But where is the fury of the oppressor? Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 12. It is he who made the earth by his power, who established the world by his wisdom, and by his understanding he has stretched out the heavens. Zechariah chapter 12, verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord concerning Israel. Thus declares the Lord, who stretches out the heavens, lays the foundation of the earth, and forms the spirit of man within him. As you can see, God states over and over that he stretched out the heavens. It is important to have biblical evidence because the expansion of the universe causes the speed of light to slow down. The linked PDF provides a comprehensive summary of the zero-point energy, ZPE phenomena. Let's cite the bare vacuum concept. Initially, a vacuum was thought to be a completely empty space. We now know that even at absolute zero, a vacuum contains measurable energy, known as zero-point energy, ZPE. Max Planck first deduced the presence of zero-point energy in the early 20th century. Einstein, Stern, and Nernst further explored this concept. The physical characteristics of ZPE consists of electromagnetic waves, mostly short wavelengths, creating a seething vacuum at atomic scales. Quantum physics treats ZPE as hypothetical, while stochastic electrodynamics treats ZPE as real and measurable. The experimental evidence involving liquid helium found that ZPE fluctuations prevent freezing without applied pressure. The Casimir effect demonstrates ZPE by the force between 2 close metal plates in a vacuum. Zero-point energy is the result of cosmic expansion. The initial stretching of the universe converted potential energy into ZPE. ZPE waves create temporary particle pairs, influencing electric and magnetic properties of the vacuum. ZPE affects the speed of light because photons interact with virtual particles in the vacuum. Each interaction requires a tiny amount of time. The more ZPE that is present, the more time it takes for the photon to move from one interaction to the next. The document also touches on various models and theories related to the fabric of space and the implications of ZPE on quantum phenomena. Zero-point energy is a result of the expansion of the universe. At the time of creation, God stretched out the heavens above us like a curtain. That formed zero-point energy, which began to slow the speed of light. As the universe continues to expand, more ZPE is being formed and continues to slow the speed of light. That is why, over the last 300 years, that we have been able to measure the speed of light reliably, we have always observed a decline in the speed of light. Thus, the speed of light is not constant. That's a big deal.